Hello, welcome everyone um, to YQNA. I have been asked to MC, and I'm going to start with land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Wendat, the Anishinabeg, Haudenosaunee, Chippewa, and Mississaugas of the Credit. We pay tribute to the legacy of all First Peoples of Canada, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work in the communities that have grown in the treaty lands. So thanks a lot. I was wondering, as a lawyer, I'm always kind of curious as to what that actually means. Does it actually mean anything? So I asked AI, what is the actual effect of that on property? And it says, told me today, land acknowledgements do not have legal weight. They are primarily symbolic gestures without enforceable rights or obligations, no legal claims. Acknowledging land does not confer any legal rights to the land itself. It does not alter ownership or title. So I was reassured if you're thinking that by acknowledging treaty rights, you're losing, you no longer own your condo or your house or whatever. It seems, according to AI, that's not the case. So that's reassuring, I guess. I um, I also was looking around on my phone. This is what I do when I'm preparing for a meeting. I waste time on my phone. And I was looking at what were the things that happened on January 13th in the past. And I'm told that in 1849, the British leased Vancouver Island to the Hudson's Bay Company for 7 shillings a year, granting them exclusive trading rights. I don't know if the First Nations got any of those 7 shillings. I'm going to guess that they didn't. Um, what else? Johnny Cash in 1968 performed at Folsom State Prison. Um, and that was recorded and became, of course, a famous live album. So without further ado, I'm going to sort of welcome. First of all, we've got some police visitors today, and I hope they're here. They're going to be introduced later. I guess maybe I'll just find out, do we have Constables Masek, Casturi, and Bates here? There's somebody waving at me. That's somebody in blue. I can't see anybody else, but I'll assume everybody else is here. So thank you very much for attending our meeting. We really appreciate it. Julia Breen, who's on the liaison committee, is going to introduce our police speakers later, but she's familiar with them, knows them. And we have, I think, some elected representatives here. I'm going to turn the floor over to them. I would counsel all elected representatives that we love you and we vote for you, but we would ask you to be brief because we've got other things to get to. And the first one up on our agenda is Chris Glover. Chris, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
There he is.
I'm actually starting a stopwatch, so I'll time this. Is
Okay.
5 minutes okay?
Yeah, sure. We're not going to enforce. We're not going to give you the hook or anything. Besides, you're far away,
Okay.
not in the same room
Okay.
anyway. So, but
No,
no, we trust you, Chris. Go ahead.
okay. Let's see. So first of all, thanks for organizing. Thanks for having me. It's great to see some familiar faces and names here at the meeting. I'll just recap a little bit of the end of last year. So in December, my team and we delivered toys to 300 kids in the community. I dress up as Santa, and it's just so much fun. We go to different community events. We go to door to some of the community housing projects and the co-ops. Anyways, it's a blast. The other thing I want to commend is our schools in the community. Many of them held food drives in December, and the food went to the Spadina Fort York Community Care Program, which operates food banks in different parts of our riding through the week. And Wednesdays they're at the Waterfront Neighbourhood Centre. On Saturdays they're at the new building at the St. Lawrence Market. And on Fridays and Sundays, they're out of the Alexander Park Co-op. So kudos to them for doing this. And it's great that the school, the parents, the staff, the students contributed. It took my minivan about 4 loads of food to the food program. Let's see. The other thing that's been happening over the last little bit, Ontario Trillium Grant Foundations, those grants, quite a few of them have landed in our community. And it's nice for me because I get to go and deliver these things, and you get to see different programs in our community that otherwise you might not know about. So I'll just highlight a couple of those. The one was, of course, the Bentway, and I'm sure you're all familiar with the Bentway. They got a grant this year for some recreational programming. The Broadreach Canada to repair. They provide opportunities for underrepresented youth to get on sailboats in the summertime. The Remix project is down the street at the Daniel Artscape building, and they train young people for careers in the music industry, and not necessarily as musicians, but in filming, in sound arts. It's a really important program, and a lot of great talent comes out of that. The Royal Agricultural Winter Fair got a grant this year. The Textile Museum. If you've never been to the Textiles Museum of Canada, it's located in a building just behind City Hall. Well worth the visit. And Jayu Festival, which is a poetry program that runs out of 401 Richmond. A couple of other provincial updates. There's a big electricity transmission line being built from the Darlington nuclear plant to Toronto. It's a high voltage underwater transmission line that is going to carry 900 megawatts of electricity. And it's being built because the 2 main lines that come into the city are going to be reaching capacity within 10 years. So this will keep us supplied with electricity for decades to come. Let's see. The SailGP it's like America's Cup, but SailGP, instead of having regular sailboats, they have sailboats on foils. And so they go up to 100 kilometers an hour. They had a watch party at the Amsterdam Brew Pub in December, and they're trying to bring the SailGP race to our harbor. And if you're interested in learning more about them or what they're trying to do, or if you want to work with them, maybe some of you already are, let my office know, and we'll reach out and I'll connect you. Let's see, I've also met with the Financial District BIA, and some good news in the Financial District. The office towers are filling back up, and the path, businesses in the path are reopening. There's been a real resurgence of people coming back into the downtown core to work, which is good for our local businesses. And it also means that the talk from a year or two ago about converting office towers into residential buildings probably won't happen. Let's see, on a personal note, I've also got Youth Council, and they've been meeting. We had a meeting at Queens Park, and they're assisting me with some research now. If you know any young people who would be interested in joining a youth council, let my office know. I've got a couple of questions here, and I see I'm going to go a couple minutes over time. I may have to take 7 minutes if that's okay, Ed.
That's okay.
Yeah, you asked about what the government's plans for exhibition place are. We don't know exactly. We know the government's given itself the power to do whatever it wants with exhibition place. Right now, it's starting with cutting those sewer pipes that dump the combined sewer outlets will now dump inside the breakwater. They're also going to be building a causeway. They're just put out an announcement. They're going to be building a causeway to facilitate the construction of the spa. I can provide you with more information about that. The other big event that's happening, though, around the Ontario Place project is the Supreme Court will now be hearing the Ontario Place Protectors case, and they are arguing that the Rebuilding Ontario Place Act that exempts or allows ministers to override. Oh, sorry, that was my alarm. The that allows the ministers to override any provincial or municipal law. That is going to be tested whether it's constitutional in the Supreme Court. The hearing should be coming up in September. Let's see, you asked what's happening in Toronto schools. So our schools are grossly underfunded. They were underfunded in 2018 when this government took office. They've cut an additional $1,500 per student per year. It's an inflationary cut. The actual dollars have gone up slightly, but when you take into account enrollment growth and inflation, we're down $1,500 per student per year, which is about an 8% cut. They've just removed the cap on class sizes for middle class sizes at 32. It was at 32. There now will be no class cap. The other big concern is that they've given the Minister of Education the power to sell off schools, which is a big concern. The final thing that you asked me about was about bike paths and what we're doing to protect our bike paths. Certainly, cycling I'm an avid cyclist, so protecting our cycling infrastructure is really important. We've been speaking out in the legislature. We're supporting the city's authority to make decisions, municipal decisions. Bike paths are a municipal decision. They should be left with the cities, which have the local expertise to decide where and when to put them in place. If you'd like to sign my petition, it's at chrisglover.ca/bike lanes. And you asked also finally about my goals. Let's see. So building nonprofit housing and assisting community organizations, churches, co-ops to build some more affordable nonprofit housing is my number one goal this year. I'm also working with the BIAs to bring their small business concerns to Queens Park. The FIFA World Cup is coming up, and I'm working with FIFA, with the city, with Councillor Malik's office or Deputy Mayor Malik's office as well, to make sure that that's a huge success and it showcases Toronto to the world. I'll be continuing with my regular events. I've got a skate with Chris happening this Friday at the Bentway between 12 and 2. If you want to come out skate, we've got free hot chocolate, some cider, and some treats for people. Let's see. And then other regular events we'll be holding, like the Bollywood. We had a Hollapalooza this year. Let's see. Also, I'm going to be advocating for public healthcare, education, and rent control. Let's see. So, and also watch for it. I've got a new video series coming out. Should be starting in February on why everyone is so broke. So if you want to know why everybody's so broke, it's a series of 5 videos that'll be coming up. So those are my goals for the year. And I think I've gone a little bit over time, but I hope the information was useful. If anybody has any questions or comments, if we have time for it, I'm certainly open.
We forgive you, Chris. No problems. Thank you very much for that informative talk. I was thrilled about the Ontario Place thing, getting the leave there. I used to do these applications to the Supreme Court in my job, and it was about 1 in 20 leave applications would be granted. That was sort of the rule of thumb. So it's quite an achievement to get leave. It doesn't mean necessarily that the court disagrees with the decision below, but it does mean that somebody on the court thinks that it's an important issue. And so it'll certainly be interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the big thing about it too is that this is also that legislation was the template for Bill 5, which allows the government to declare any part of the province a special economic zone, and also for Bill C5, which allows federal ministers to override laws without having to go back to the legislature to change those laws. So it's precedent setting, and it'll be, quite an important case.
I think so. Okay, well, thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we got Tom, our old friend Tom Davidson here. Are you around, Tom?
Hi there, good evening.
There he is. Hi, Tom. Everybody
Okay,
knows Tom, I think.
okay, great.
City Councilor Ozma Malik. He's been talking to us for basically since the last ice age or something. I forget.
Oh, wow.
It's been years and years that we've been hearing
Certainly has.
from new councilors.
Well, great. Well, thank you, and I'll make sure that I work through the questions that were put from your group here. I know just tonight as well, the deputy mayor was hosting her budget town hall in collaboration with Councillor Chris Moyse. So I'll make some comments about that in terms of priorities for this year. But I do want to start again, picking up on the news from last time, and again recognizing the long-standing advocacy of this organization and the community around the need to bring back and rehabilitate the Amsterdam Bridge. The last council meeting, as I updated, Deputy Mayor was very proud to be able to introduce the motion that allocated the funding that had been assembled from the city, as well as in partnership, of course, with Harbourfront Centre. And now, since then, work has been going continuously with Create TO, the organization that is assembling the work plan and driving that, and that has been under, of course, the oversight of our friend Brian Bowen, who's worked on so many important waterfront projects here. So I can say that the work have been progressing very rapidly in terms of the engineering assessments that were needed to prepare the work. And now, just recently, as of Friday, a tender has gone out for the contractor who will implement the work. We're looking at the mobilization as of March, and the work being done and completed by the beginning of June, which is, of course, the time when visitors return en masse to the downtown. Residents are come out to enjoy the community in the waterfront, and of course the World Cup event as well too, being able to highlight and showcase the waterfront, showcase Toronto with this landmark restored. So we're very much looking forward to that and the event, you know, to open it up with the community. Then we had the public planning meeting for the new Pinnacle development application at the 1 to 7 Yonge site, the two large blocks to east of Yonge Street, north of Queens Quay. This latest one was focused on the southern block, which had previously been approved with, it's the site of the Toronto Star building for office use and hotel use. The applicants or property owners had come back with a revised application for residential use on that site, and as well had come forward at the same time with an application for an interim use in advance of that that redevelopment happening when and if it is approved. So picture an application that reconfigures the site for 2 residential towers, as well as hotel use, and then what will also be considered at the same time is an application to rehabilitate the Toronto Star building for an interim hotel use on its own right. So it is, clearly a long-term project that this developer is looking at in terms of the timelines for implementation. For us, and I know what the community's priorities have been, they've been around what's the community infrastructure that's coming along development and growth when we see this increase in residential. So from the start and of the application process, which is the start of a review process by city planning, we saw that there were some affordable housing that was included in that. There was some public amenity space that could be dedicated for a public use. And what now is happening is the review process will look at that and determine, well, what should those look like, and how should the entire development be improved. We know that affordable housing is a challenge in terms of its applying it with the province having put in regulations for inclusionary zoning that were much more restrictive than originally thought, and as well Well, the community space that's there, we think there is a lot of potential, but it needs to be done in a way that works for a accessibility to the public. So that process will go through its review process, and this community will be updated when there's a resubmission by the developer. I had a note here to, always update on the East Waterfront LRT and the process to achieve that funding and implementation. As always, it's been a top priority for the city, for the deputy mayor and the mayor's office to secure that funding through a tripartite agreement, a three-level government agreement that could secure funding and implementation through that coordination and collaboration that we saw the best example of from last year, which resulted in the next phase of waterfront revitalization being funded, Okwemen-Minnesing and the quayside infrastructure, governments coming together and working collaboratively to prioritize housing and green space infrastructure for new neighborhoods. And what's essential to complete that build out is the transit. So I can tell you that the very active discussions with the city government and Waterfront Toronto, all members of government representation here, I know, are strongly supportive of this. And we think that, during the upcoming months, especially during the federal budget time, it'll be it'll be time for a very active discussion and decision making on the future of the waterfront. So we're looking forward to that. Then just on the island airport and RISA, which was the safety requirement, the runway extension requirement from Transport Canada. We've been updated by ports that they brought their construction consultant contractor on board, and so they're working through their work plan, which through the City Council approval of RISA required ports to come forward with a construction, mitigation, and management plan to the city, and then for that plan to be presented to the communities that are around the neighborhood. So both a plan and a plan to for engagement on what that looks like. So we're expecting that imminently, and we'll be working with city staff to connect with you when that happens to be able to show what that work plan looks like. The approvals for the RISA, which was the subject of an environmental assessment, which was completed and posted just before the holidays by Ports Toronto. I mean, what we saw there, of course, was their assessment, the environmental assessment, recommending an expansive version, a larger version of the runway safety area. But in that posting, Ports has acknowledged that through the decision of City Council, through the amended tripartite agreement that all parties signed as of January of last year, that the minimal required landmass extension, RISA 1, that it was called, is the project that they're going to proceed with. So that has been locked in and confirmed, notwithstanding what their environmental assessment may have said. And so we know that so this construction will be taking place soon, and we'll be working with you on that mitigation process. And then we know the future in the next year is a renewed airport master plan process, which the city will be, carefully and very intently involved in terms of providing opportunities for engagement and consultation and keeping the community involved in that decision making. Then just maybe to finish then in terms of the priorities for this year, well, we've had the city budget launch as of last week, and those budgets always determine priorities. For Uzma, she has been focused on delivering public spaces for all, green spaces, affordable housing, new housing for our downtown to represent more affordability in our community, and as well, of course, as mentioned, transit. What we've seen through the budget in general, there's been some very positive announcements on the provision of a breakfast program in our schools that was extended through the last year, giving the value of $880 per year for families. The TTC improvements, we're seeing now a cap on the number of trips that will result in a fare for you, starting at 47, and with a goal of capping the number of trips that you get charged for as 40 in 2027. Libraries open 7 days per week. And then amongst our projects, we see the importance of continuing to keep the ferries that'll be delivered starting at the end of this year on track. The Toronto Island Park Plan, which is enhancing the experience of the island in all seasons, as well as the accessibility to get to the Toronto Island that are one of our most important public spaces. Reese Park as a project moving forward. And then, as mentioned again, yes, the FIFA World Cup is an event in our city, an opportunity to showcase it. And then for us, a priority has been, as the councillor representing the local communities in the area, what is the management plan for events and traffic and transportation? How are our local business associations leveraging the opportunity to be successful and prosperous? These are the things that we're focused on now, and you'll see a lot more information on that planning coming out very soon. So thank you.
Thanks very much.
Events.
That's great. Good to see you. And we thank you. I'm not so okay. How can Councillor Malik help to ensure the RISA EA work will not continue to violate long-established engineering noise standards applicable to both the airport capacity and existing housing that were approved in the past by unlicensed city staff? Well, that's Hal asking, and Hal.
Understood. Understood on that. Yes. And and RISA in terms of its its approval is it's not an operational approval. So though that work to establish, maintain, guard, and implement noise standards is something that we'll continue to work with you on.
Okay. And was asking any concerns, is a very general kind of a question, I guess, concerns about the enormous increase in density in Pinnacle projects on the site. She's talking, of course, about the Pinnacle project, which are 100 plus stories. The two buildings, I think, that are there now, and then there'll be more on the south side of Street. Obviously, an enormous increase in it. Of course, it's a generalized concern that the city has to kind of deal with that, and vast increases in population in general in the eastern part of the harbor. But I guess maybe you can give us a general comment on the
I think that's right, and then
increasing densification
in terms of the work that our city staff have to do. There's both the nuts and bolts of service capacities and what is the strain on underlying infrastructure, and those are the things that the developer needs to prove that can actually be accommodated under the current circumstances, because we know as of not too long ago, the amount of sewer infrastructure that could be handled in here didn't allow for additional development. So that technical side needs to be proven. And then, but from a livability standpoint, that again goes back to what are the public benefits and public community infrastructure that is being delivered through these projects. And that is a challenge given the province's constraining of the city's powers under the Planning Act to secure these developments, secure these benefits. it is something we have to stay really focused on and negotiate and work on very, very closely in order to achieve that. So that is, that's talking about what is the childcare, what are the community services, and as mentioned as well too, the affordable housing component, which is not which the ambitions that had been previously laid out for inclusionary required amounts of affordable for each development, they've been cut back and clawed back very a lot by this provincial government. So we do need to push and fight.
Okay. Noise at Queens Harbor. Consistent that this is the new restaurant. Consistent 311 calls go unaddressed.
Mhm.
And raising general noise concerns. There's loud music until 2 a.m. that's audible in the condos. Can your office assist with real action?
Yes, if they're communicated to our office, we can add to them. We are in communication with our bylaw staff and Queens Harbor itself as well too, in terms of identifying when a noise is taking place and having that mitigated. I know that they are, for example, implementing like technology as opposed to depending on a person to close the noise off at a certain hour. So the operator is taking steps to improve their oversight over that. And if there are issues that are happening that we need to know about that as well too.
Okay, so we've worked with Ozma's office and with Tom over the years on noise issues of various kinds over the years. They're nothing new on the waterfront. I have found that the key thing really is dialogue. And with Harbourfront at times, and with places like that, and that actually can work. Liaison committees and things like that seem to be of some assistance. So we'll see how it goes, but we'll look forward to working with Tom's Osmo's office and with Tom on that kind of stuff. Okay. Thanks very much, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Have we got MP Chi here or somebody for her?
Hi there. Hi there, Ed. How are you?
Oh, there she is, by golly, with the Canadian flag in the background. That's so great. Good to see you. How are you?
Really good, thanks. And delighted to be here this evening and to join you all. I have to say, for a January evening, that over now 95 people are on this call really speaks to the engagement in this community and how much folks care. So thanks to everyone for tuning in for a really important conversation about what's happening.
You're cutting out a bit there. I'm not quite sure why that is.
Okay. I'm going to just keep talking and I'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3,
There, you're
4,
good.
5. That's better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it had to do with you moving your head and look, I don't know. We can hear you now.
Great. I have a couple notes here. I just want to make sure I cover all the pieces. I know you had some great questions in the agenda today. Just wanted for folks who haven't had a chance to say hello and haven't met yet. My name's Chi. I'm the new member of Parliament for Spadina Harbourfront. And since last year, over the course of the year, we knocked on over 40,000 doors and helped more than 1,000 residents with federal casework. So everything from immigration to accessing the Canadian Dental Plan and supporting efforts to reach and connect into Service Canada. And I am very blessed to work with an extraordinary team here. They're doing all they can to make sure that the office is running and operating and useful and of service to the community. If you haven't had a chance to come by, we're at 460 Richmond at Spadina and Richmond. And so a couple of things you wanted to kind of get some updates on. Everyone has, many of you, many comments already on Harbourfront. We know that
You're kind of going in and out there. I don't know. We get you for a little bit, and then you go out.
I'm so sorry. I could try.
I don't know. Do you have another mic, or can you unplug your thing and just talk to the computer?
Let me try just take the microphone off. Apologies, folks. Give me 1 second.
Just to say, I was actually hearing you pretty well.
Really? Okay.
I don't know how bad it was on your end, but it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
doing so bad.
All right. Well, maybe it's just me. I don't know. I was hearing all the other speakers well, but
Okay.
she was in and out. I don't know what others' experience is. Anyway, why don't you try again, Chi, and let's just press on. Oh, now she's got her. Now you're muted. Ah,
Okay. Apologies, sorry for that. So obviously Harbourfront Centre is a place that we all love in this community. It's not just a nice to have. It's actually one of Canada's most important cultural and economic engines. We know that over 6 million people a year use this facility. And when it's struggling or feeling challenged, Toronto feels it, and so does the rest of the country. I've been in office now for about 8 months and was really delighted to kind of continue to advocate for Harbourfront, bringing these issues to the Prime Minister's office and the Minister of Canadian Heritage to ensure that we are continuing to invest in Harbourfront. And so in December, we were delighted to help secure some resourcing through the Green and Inclusive Community Buildings program. We are also investing in a new building that's going to be opening at the foot of Bathurst, the Corlick building that's being built by the Canada-Ireland Foundation, not built, but rehabilitated. So we've contributed $4 million to the retrofits there to ensure that when it opens in March, fingers crossed that the efforts continue to go as planned. But we're really excited about having another cultural institution on the waterfront. We know that we are entering a time when Canada has to take on looking after our infrastructure seriously. We know that there are pain points around everything that's happening in terms of the instability with the US around tariffs and global supply chains. We need to make sure that we are investing in our ports, flood protection, housing, transit. These infrastructure pieces are not optional. They are actually how we stay competitive and continue to grow our country. And it's why we have committed to $325 million to Waterfront Toronto's revitalization. Some of the work that's been done at the multiple levels with Okominasing and new housing at Quayside. So we're really thrilled that this work is happening across all levels of government. Others have also done quick updates on Queens Quay East, LRT. We know that there are going to be conversations coming up, and I continue to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. My colleagues in 416 Caucus also know how important this is to the health of the city. And on the RACA piece, Tom shared a lot on in terms of where we're at. We know that there are concerns in the community about the noise, the environmental impact, and what it means for the waterfront. And I'm watching and making sure that as these things roll out, whether it's safety or environmental protections, that the project needs to continue to meet the standards that we want to set in terms of safety and environmental law. There were public consultations that took place and closed that Ports Toronto was running that wrapped on July 7th, and that work needs to press forward so that we can meet the requirements for the extensions as needed. Another announcement that came out just about a week ago is some changes to small vessel regulations. And so, the intention around that is to make sure that we're modernizing our pleasure craft licensing program right now. So some of the practical changes that took effect December 31st, pleasure craft licenses are going to be only valid for 5 years. An additional service fees are going to be applied to licensing, renewing, and transferring a pleasure craft license. And I'm curious to hear if this is going to affect the community because waterfront users should be involved in making sure that the rules work in practice. So if you have any feedback on that, I'd love to hear from you. Thinking about this upcoming year in 26, we know that we are really living in a very challenging and difficult time, and that the waterfront and the downtown core really sits at the heart of Toronto's and Canada's economic, cultural, and strategic future. And that's why we also know that the work to invest in Build Canada homes is really important. We're looking at how we use federal land and federal financing to build housing that teachers and artists and families can afford. And through this upcoming year, we're going to be looking towards shovel-ready projects to make sure that we're starting to move on that. Over the course of the next year, I really want to focus my efforts on the waterfront partners to make sure that we are thinking about a very connected and resilient waterfront. We can't think about this in isolation. Yeah, I think really my focus for the year is to make sure that we are continuing to invest in the pieces of infrastructure that make this city really vibrant. And a strong waterfront is actually a strong Canada. We want the waterfront to reflect our national pride and our community values locally, nationally, and globally. We really are the stewards of a place that matters to the whole of the country. And my commitment to you all is to protect what makes this community special and keeping Canada a strong and resilient and dynamic and changing in response to what's happening globally. So thank you for your time this evening and a chance to connect. And we'll drop the address and phone number of our team in the chat so that you know how to reach us.
We've got a question about pleasure craft, whether the pleasure craft changes apply to rentals, because we get inexperienced boaters who race around and so on. Do you know?
I don't know offhand. It's one of the questions I will be going back to them to my colleagues to get a bit more detail on how that will roll out. But it is what was one of the questions I had when the news was shared with us. But we'll find out and circle back.
I would guess that it might impose obligations on the renter,
Yeah.
not to sort of discipline to some extent the person who's operating a rental business, to impose a little bit of discipline, hopefully on the renters. But I'm guessing. Okay, well, thanks very much. Airport. Hal is asking if we can get Transport Canada to add a licensed noise engineer to their staff, so they can evaluate airport capacity matters and fulfill their regulatory oversight obligations, which relate to the NEF noise standard. There's been a lot of concern for a long time about the noise standards and that are in the tripartite agreement and whether they actually apply and are in fact effective at all or are appropriate in that location. But it is a complicated engineering matter, and Hal's, I think, asking whether there will be a qualified engineer on Transport Canada staff when they're dealing with these issues. Sorry, do you need to be unmuted? Oh, it's okay. I can't hear you at all.
Hi, I was unmuting myself.
Okay.
As to whether or not, I don't, from what I know about this, I don't think Transport Canada gets involved typically at this. I think that the operations of the airport don't fall to Transport Canada. I can dig around and find out a little bit more, but I can't answer that question offhand at the moment.
Okay, and you've given us your email, which is great. I'm sure it's findable on the internet as well. So thank you very much indeed for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again. Thanks very much, Jean.
Thanks very much, everyone. Have a great evening.
Okay, I'm going to talk briefly just before we introduce our police guests, if I may, about an interesting Sunday. Didi, can you put up the one of the two pictures that I sent you? This
Actually, I'm going to be putting those up.
Are you putting them up? Okay. We got Neil in the driver's seat. We're blessed with tremendous technical expertise here between Neil and Didi. It's amazing.
Oh, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I just sent these two pictures. I wanted to report a little bit on a very interesting thing that happened today, on Sunday, actually. This is my picture of Steve Mann. He's the guy in red at the front. and has been active. He's a U of T professor, an engineering professor, and those are some of his students and kind of disciples behind him. And he and his group have been very active in the last couple of months at cleaning up the Peter Street Basin. The Peter Street Basin is actually a park. It's been grungy and cruddy for years. And I've always kind of wondered why, because it's potentially a really nice space. And I think we should all be really grateful to Steve and his happy friends there who like to go swimming, even in very cold temperatures. But they've really done a lot of work to kind of clean that thing up. If you walk along there, it's over by the fire station. You'll see that it's looking a lot better. But the thing that we were particularly meeting about on Sunday related to the sculpture there, which is what they're standing kind of beside. It is a sculpture called Learn to Throw Your Voice. It was installed in 1986. It's by a guy called Bernie Miller, who's now unfortunately deceased, but his widow, Jean Randolph, who is the lady kind of standing to Steve's left, gave us a speech about this sculpture. And at one time it had interior lighting. You can see a sort of an electrical panel visible there. It also had a water feature where water kind of went off, actually the far side, the one we can't see here. On the other side, over by the pool, it sort of mimics the shape of the various malting towers that used to be such a dominant feature of our downtown waterfront. So what I just sort of was going to suggest that somebody at YQNA might want to take on, I might write a letter, would be to say to the city, hey, this sculpture should be kind of brought back, and the city should support and appreciate the efforts of these folks at making this a really nice public space. It's got huge potential, and I think at pretty low cost, particularly with dedicated volunteers like this, we could make this a really nice asset of the city, and bringing back the sculpture might be part of it. I've looked at the city's website about this sculpture, and it doesn't actually seem to be there. There's a lot of attention. The city's paying a lot of attention to, street art when it's getting developments done. The building just to the left of this picture is basically still under construction, and I don't know whether the site approval involved reviving this statue, and maybe not. But I thought I would draw this group's attention to, they're called the Friends of the Peter Street Basin. I think they're doing good work. And I think that YQNA should sort of aid and assist these people, if we can, in getting more attention to sprucing up that little space there. So that's my little pitch there. So I'm going to move on to Julie Breen, who
Hi.
is on, there she is, there's Julie. She's on the Community Liaison Committee with 52 Division, I believe. And she's going to introduce our police speakers and tell us a little bit about what it's like being on that committee and great work they do.
Perfect. Thank you, Ed. So I have the privilege of representing YQNA, so our neighborhood association, on 52 Division's Community Police Liaison Committee. And in that capacity, we meet multiple times throughout the year to discuss issues of relevance to the broader neighborhood, both in terms of residents, but also businesses. So the committee itself is comprised of other resident association representatives, some of the Business Improvement Association representatives. I see Dorsa is on the line today from our Waterfront BIA, and she's actually the co-chair of 52 CPLC. And then we'll also have members of some specific organizations that reside within the boundaries of 52. And for those of you who don't know, it's actually quite a large division with critical pieces of Toronto. So it extends from right here in the waterfront, including the islands, up to the south side of Bloor, and to the east to this side of Yonge Street, and to the west to this side of Spadina. So quite a large area. It encompasses Scotiabank Arena, the the Rogers Center, Eaton Center. The Sankofa Square actually is part of ours. So 52 does dip around at Yonge and Dundas to include Sankofa Square. The Parliament, City Hall, etc., the whole financial district, Union Station. So if you think about it, a lot of the issues that are critical to what we face, both in our own neighborhood, but also in our extended community, is all within the confines of 52. Now, in terms of this evening specifically, we're really pleased to welcome a few members, 52 Division, to speak on topics that we feel can impact each and every one of us. So first, we're going to hear from Detective Constable John Masiak, who's a member of the division's fraud unit, and he's going to speak on issues such as phone and email scams, bank fraud, so very practical, important topics. Then Constable Pank Kasturi, who is a crime prevention officer and was very recently one of our neighborhood community officers. He's going to speak on personal safety topics, such as situational awareness, distraction theft. And then finally, we're going to hear from Constable Barry Bates, who is one of our current 4. So we're very privileged in the Waterfront neighborhood. We have 4 neighborhood community officers. There are only neighborhood community officers in certain communities. So it's not every community in Toronto that has this. So we have 4 in 2 shifts of 2. So Barry is going to speak to us about traffic in the neighborhood, including how we handle large-scale events. So again, we have the arenas nearby, we have FIFA coming to town. And then also joining us this evening, although he's not scheduled to necessarily speak, is another one of our neighborhood community officers. He's actually Barry's partner, Namli, who's relatively recent to the Waterfront. So it's a good opportunity to welcome him to our neighborhood. So just before I hand it over, thank you in advance to everyone who's here from the police this evening. We really appreciate you joining us. And with that, let me hand it over to John.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody hear me okay?
You can.
Yep.
Excellent. I was asked to speak about numerous scams that we're experiencing currently. The big one it's my biggest peeve is the taxi scams. I don't know if people are aware of it. We've got 2 issues. One of them is it appears to be a taxi outside one of the event centers. What we've seen was around the Mirvish theaters and stuff. As people exit the facilities, you go and jump in a cab. You think it's a legit cab. It actually really is, but it's been commandeered by these individuals. They're just paying the owners to use the cab. They're not hooking into the radio system or anything like the dispatch. And you go in, you take the cab to your residence, either to your condominium or your home, and the driver will usually ask for a debit card. I know a lot of the cab drivers, they take cash. Cabbies love cash, but in this instance, they'll ask for a debit card, and you present your debit card. He'll take it and he'll say, "Hey, I got a bit of a problem with it, with the machine. Just bear with me." And what they're doing at this time is, you think there's an issue, but what they're doing is they're taking your card. Let's say, for example, it's a BMO card. They'll switch it up with another BMO card that's been used and scammed, and they'll put it into the terminal. They say, "Okay, here we go. It's fixed." The tap never works. Never ask for a tip. And what you'll end up getting is this terminal with card. You think it's yours. You punch in your PIN number, and it always says approved. You could sit there and punch in 500 digits. It'll always say approved. And then you'll be on your happy merry way, go into your residence, and next thing you know, hours later or the next morning, you're either getting text messages on your phone from BMO saying, "Hey, transactions have happened," or you try and use your card the next morning to get a latte or something at Starbucks, and your card's declined, and you're, what do you mean it's declined? You try it again, and it's declined, and you have somebody else's card that got scammed, and the suspects are off using your card, and they obtained your PIN number through this point of sale terminal. There was some major arrests done by our financial crimes unit late last year. A number of individuals were arrested in various locations in the downtown core. There was a large amount of property seized at these locations, and for a while it stopped, but now it's starting up again. The other issue we're seeing is, I call it the 2.0 version, where it's either a motor vehicle with a taxi sign on it, but um, there's only a meter in there. There's no radio, no nothing else. There's no your passenger bill of rights that's hanging on the headrest. There's no numbers on the side of the vehicle, or there's no taxi plate on it. And an individual will come out of the vehicle and stop you, and they'll try to get you on as a good Samaritan, and they'll say, "Hey, can you pay for my taxi? Driver doesn't take cash; he only takes debit." And they're trying to get you to use your debit card. And basically the same scenario, they do a switcheroo after the fake passenger distracts you for a brief couple of seconds, saying thank you, give you the $10 for the taxi fare, and meanwhile the driver switches your card, hands you the point of sale terminal again with somebody else's card in it, and they got your PIN number, they got your card, and they go to town on that. They'll get whatever they can coming out of your bank account, and if not, they'll go to usually we've seen Shoppers or other locations, and they will get gift cards using your card. I will send I call it my do's and don'ts list. The City of Toronto licensing bureau. They've incorporated my do's and don'ts list into theirs. It was a big thing during Taylor Swift. I will send that out with George, so he can send that out to anyone who wants this list. And I will also send out an image of the terminal that is used. This is the only terminal in all my years of investigating these taxi frauds since 2018 that they've been using. No other terminal is being used. Just this one. It's an older terminal. I call it it's basically a Verifone VX670. So I'll send that out, and you can pass it on to all your members uh, to have a look. And that do's and don'ts list is basically a guide. Personal safety is the most important. If you do get scammed, just get out of the car. You can get another card tomorrow. Don't challenge the driver unless you're 6'2" and 300 pounds like me. And you can choke the guy. Don't bother. Just get a new card. Safety is number one. The other issue let me backtrack. If it's not a fake cab, they'll have a vehicle with a Domino's pizza sign on top. Basically, same scenario. They'll get a young person asking you to help them out to pay for their pizza, as the driver doesn't take cash. How wonderful! And they'll do again the switch up on the debit cards within the driver and the fake person, who's got the pizza or the taxi passenger. They'll distract you for a brief couple of seconds so you can switch cards and obtain your card and give you somebody else's. The other issue we're seeing a lot of right now, I call it's the bank investigator scam, where it's about, at this time of night, you receive a phone call, on your cell phone, and it basically says it's, let's say TD Bank, and you believe it's TD Bank, and there's a 1-800 number. These guys spoof it, and they'll say, they'll have your name and everything, and they'll say, listen, it's a TD Security. Did you authorize a purchase in Vancouver for $600 at whatever location? Say, no, I did not. I did not authorize it. I still have my cards. Well, okay. What we're going to do is we're going to cancel those cards, and what we'll do is we'll send a courier to come pick up those cards. Please cut them up and put them in an envelope and address it to whatever your local branch, and they'll tell you the local branch where you supposedly branch at, do your banking at. And it turns out to be an Uber freight driver. He'll show up and pick up the cards. He's not in on it. He has no idea. He'll pick up this envelope and they'll take it to the destination where the suspects are. But in the meantime, while that's happening, they'll have they'll get you back on the phone. Okay, this is TD Security again. Yeah, we obtained those cards. What's your PIN number? and they get you to provide your PIN number. And now they got your cards, even though it's cut up, the chip's not destroyed. They'll put it together and they'll use it at various locations. And what we're finding now through several of the financial institutions is you gave your cards away, you gave your PIN number away, you're liable on this. And unfortunately, I've had a number of victims who felt prey to this, and they end up on the losing end of it. The banks are just not covering this. It's too bad, but yeah, it's going on. But anything like that, banks don't send couriers whatsoever. If you get a phone call like that, just say, okay, that's fine. I'll cut them up. I'm not sending it to a courier or whatever. Go to your branch the next morning and speak to the teller and tell them what happened. And if there is an issue with a card, they'll give you a brand new card. Don't worry about it. The other issue we're seeing right now is also the other phone scams that we're getting is they're pretending to be a Rogers employee or TELUS or Bell. They say, we got this great deal for you. We can give you 100 gigs for $35. Would you like to sign up for this? And basically they're trying to get you to say yes, get you to provide your name and, provide a credit card number. And next thing you know, you're on the hook again. A lot of these cell phone companies don't go out doing this stuff, asking, trying to give you a deal on a very, very good rate. That just doesn't happen. Sometimes, they'll spoof a number. If you're not sure of it, just don't fall for it. Don't give them any information. If you want a deal, just go to your local cell phone provider and speak with them there at the booth, or just call them directly, or go online and speak with them if they offer deals. But don't give any information out over the phone, and especially deals like that. What else is there? Yeah, the email fraud. If you recognize stuff that's not coming through, and it's a deal for anything, whether it's I see all sorts of stuff here offering me up different things. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. It's just don't fall for it. Don't hit any links that you're unsure of. If you get a web page, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see all the legal jargon down below. Contact us, or what's the other one? Legal. Sorry. Just scroll down to the bottom. They got all those little links there. That usually tells you it's a legitimate website, but 9
This
times out of 10
leftist started a
it's not.
viral situation.
Sorry?
News, Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned always carry cash. Well, a lot of these fake, real legit taxis will take cash. These fake ones don't. They always want you to give away your debit card or your credit card. Uber, yeah, use Uber. There's no issue about that. Some people don't use Uber. I don't like Uber. And also crypto scams. Yeah, that's a big one. A lot of people jump onto the internet, go onto the cryptocurrency and stuff like that. Try and make. I had one lady. She out of the States. She sent up $100,000 US, thinking she's going to get $500,000 within a year. That doesn't happen. Nobody can guarantee you that kind of rate, cryptocurrency and stuff like that, unless it's a legitimate platform that you can invest in. If you want to take that risk, go ahead. I don't believe in it. Warren Buffett doesn't believe in it. Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase doesn't believe in the crypto. They believe in the blockchain, but not in the crypto. People think it's an investment. Personally, I don't. I'm old school. I have a brokerage firm that I deal with, and I do my investing that way. But the two things that fuel a lot of fraud right now, it's fear and greed. You want to get greedy. I had a lady lose $800,000. Thought she could make a fortune. I even had a friend who invested $9,000. And they kept telling him, "Oh, you've got $65,000 here." He tried to withdraw the money, and they wouldn't allow it. "Oh, you need to pay $5,000 in a withdrawal fee," and they were just trying to get him to send more money. So he was basically out $9,000 in. I believe the platform was out in the UK. There's so much of this going on. It's a risk. It's very risky. I don't know. Some people know how to navigate through it. I don't know, and I never will. My kid says invest in it. I said no, thanks, but no, I work too hard for my money. Um,
I might as well just tell a story briefly. My mom, who was in her 90s, got a call saying that my son, her grandson, had been arrested. And I'm sure you've heard of this
yeah,
one called the
yeah,
grandmother scam sometimes.
yes,
You've got to send money right away to because they're in jail and you need to post bail or whatever it is or pay for the lawyer or whatever. And of course, my son was not in jail; he had not been arrested. It was all a scam, but it had her very upset. This is an old person. I spoke to the lady in the retirement home who kind of ran things there. She said, "Oh yeah, they get this all the time."
yeah.
A great many of the old folks in this place were targeted with this kind of stuff, and it causes great distress. We caught it, but there's many, I'm sure, who do hand over important information and lose money this way.
Yeah, we've seen not in the downtown core. I'm yet to come across one here, but on the outskirts and other police jurisdictions, it's pretty big, and people do fall for it. Both my in-laws, they're in their 80s, and they're fully aware. They actually did get a call thinking it was my son, but they didn't fall for it. Anytime if you can explain to your parents or any friends who are elderly, speak to them. And anything that seems wrong, just hang up and call your son, call your daughter, speak to the grandchildren, and yeah, don't fall for it. Just looking at that question here, yeah, anybody that stops you outside, don't if sounds too good to be true, it is. It's just getting more and more bit of a headache. There's another incident I'm just investigating where I was talking to Halton Region, and uh, guy was standing outside Tim Hortons up there offering counterfeit money for sale. You could buy $100 for $30, $50, and you buy all this and take it. Hey, it's real. Yeah, it's not. It's yeah, there's lots going on still. Uh, yeah, that's a good idea. Have a code name for the family, but you know, the senior people can always just hang up. If there's an issue, you just call your family members and say, "Hey, everything okay?" "Yeah, little Jimmy wasn't arrested. He's fine. He's right here," or "He's at university." And the police never ask for bail money. It's only a court where they ask for money. They never ask for money. Let's put it that way anymore. I know they're ahead the court system that you just sign some documents and that's it. I just the more people know, the better. If there's anything else, I can help you with, I can do a whole list and send it to you, and you can just put it out to some of your members there. They can look at it. And with the taxi scams, the best way of getting through to everybody is just keep telling everybody through their social media, "Hey, you hear about this? You hear about this?" The more people hear about it, the better. Our corporate communication puts out stuff, unless it's the phrase sexy enough, the media sometimes don't pick up on it. But yeah, I'll be more than happy to send anything out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and George. Um, George, I'll actually put my email right there right now.
But yeah, if you'd like to send us a list like that, we can circulate that. That would be great.
Yeah, yeah. If I can get your list there, it would be great. Or like I said, reach out to George or reach out to me, and I'll give it to you. I'd be more than happy to answer anything.
Okay. Well,
I think we're, well, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Are we getting Constable Barry Bates also?
There we go. I exist. That's good. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here tonight to the meeting. I'm Barry Bates. I work at the 52 Division in the currently in the Waterfront neighborhood program with Nam Lee. Tonight, I've been asked simply to give a quick talk or have any questions about traffic in the area of the waterfront. Reason they're asking me to do the traffic, prior to being in the waterfront program, I was a traffic officer in 52 for about 20 years straight. So that's my real area of knowledge, shall we say. So basically, I'm just going to give you a quick spiel. It's funny, I don't have a lot of details. FIFA is on everyone's mind, as Taylor Swift was last year. Everyone down the south end was all worried about all the traffic disruptions, and there were a lot with her. FIFA is coming for the month of June. The plans have not been completely revealed to us, even at 52 Division, which does surprise me, as it's our area. And our emergency management team are working on it. I think the reason is too, they have it because I think they're still trying to figure out the details. It's a very complex situation, and it is going to affect not just the downtown core, because obviously the games are being played at BMO Field. But there will be significant closures during the actual events. During the whole month, obviously the participants, the team, the members, the players will be staying at hotels downtown, and there's going to be huge crowds. I don't think this city has seen a crowd like this yet. World Cup is a special type of fans, and they are coming in droves, and it is going to be extremely busy. All I can suggest, I've gone on the site myself. The City of Toronto does have a FIFA website, which is being updated fairly regularly about some of the details about traffic plans and options. My best suggestion is for you to go on their site, because we're not even getting updated that quickly. So also the Toronto Police has if you go on the Toronto Police website, there is you can scroll down and find a FIFA portal, which will give you some basic information on what to expect for FIFA. Basically, it is just going to be crazy. Much like Taylor Swift last year, where we had her here for 6 nights. Roads were shut down much more than they would be for, let's say, a Blue Jays game. Of course, the Blue Jays playoff run was very similar to Taylor Swift. It impacted quite a few things. But basically, that's it. During any kind of event, including any basic Leaf game or Jays games, we do shut down various stretches of York Street, Lakeshore, Lower Simcoe. And we do that to basically redirect people out of the venue and cars out of the venue as quickly as possible. And the way to do that is to shut the roads down and favor all the traffic and people coming out of the game. And it usually cuts down the process from about an hour and a half down to about 40 minutes till we cleared everybody out. That's for convenience, so we get things back to normal for everyone who lives in the area. It's also for safety, due to recent world events in the last decade. We all know what can happen at major sporting events, and none of it, in our perspective, is that good. So we want to make sure we get the people out as quickly as possible, so it's not as appealing to someone who has some nefarious thoughts on their mind in regards to crowds. FIFA is a whole different level. The security for that will be insane, to protect people and to try and get the crowds out as quick as possible. But say going on the website, that's the best thing to do. There's the Toronto Police website for FIFA, City of Toronto. As we get information at 52, which hopefully we will, being that it's in a lot of it's affecting our division, I'll pass it on to Julie and to Dorsa, and they can filter that out through the BIA newsletters and your own internal email system. As soon as I get it, I'll pass it along. But I'd like to say I have more details. I don't, which anyone knows the City of Toronto, it should not be too surprised at that. They're not going to really reveal it till it's set in stone and they have something in place. Other than that, any questions from anyone in the area for traffic problems downtown in the waterfront area? I'd be happy to try and answer them for you. If not, I can, if I don't know the answer, I can certainly find the answer for you and get back to you. Just going to pull up my chat screen so I can see if there's any.
I guess
sorry, I'm just going to read this.
just-
Do you know if
I'm
any roads will be shut down today or prior to? Oh, yes.
I was just going to ask about I think there's special constables who kind of direct traffic, for example, on Lakeshore at rush hour, trying to, I think, prevent people basically from stopping in the box and,
Yeah.
blocking, opposing traffic. And I'm saying you don't control those people. Those are controlled by somebody else, not you. Is that right? Is that workable? Should that be changed, or is it working as it is?
Yes, they're employed by. Oh, sorry, I thought you were finished. They're employed by the city of Toronto. It's not a now that being said, there's two different types you're talking about. So there are the traffic wardens employed by the city of Toronto, and they are just traffic wardens. They don't have much authority beyond just directing traffic, but they do a good job managing most of the intersection, basically with that in mind, to prevent the gridlock, blocking the box, which does mess up traffic immensely. Also to prevent people from making unsafe turns, particularly at York and the Gardner ramps, are very popular. People make that double right, which is very unsafe. I used to stand there quite a bit during my traffic days, and now they take care of that. Some of the intersections at rush hour, you will find they're actually callback officers, not traffic wardens. There is usually one police constable and two of what we call our special constables, which are district special constables who don't have police powers, but have more than the traffic wardens. So some of the intersections on a daily basis are monitored or are dealt with by those, and then they have others that are the traffic wardens. The city has employed probably in the last 1 or 2 years. I forget the actual number now, but they have hired quite a number of them because they are now covering many of the downtown intersections. They started off with maybe doing 3 or 4 intersections when they were getting the project going. But yeah, the traffic wardens do a lot of the intersections, and they're doing, as far as I know, they're doing a good job with what they've been given. It's not I used to do it myself before it became traffic wardens. We used to do it on a callback basis, on off duty. It's not a pleasant 4 hours of your life, rush hour, directing traffic. Just trust me on that. It's not. So kudos to them. They're doing the best they can.
I think it's been working well. That's my impression. I mean, it's still unbearable, but it's not quite as bad as it was, I guess, since that started up, which seems to me was like 3 or 4 years ago or something like that.
Oh no, there's no solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they start up and there is no solution. It's like to say after a game lets out, as much as the safety plan we put in place gets it done quicker, getting people out, you just can't physically get everyone out efficiently. There's just too many people, too many cars. So they do the best they can. It's just anytime you're downtown at rush hour, you better pack your patience and a good cup of coffee, put on some nice music, because that's just the nature of the beast at rush hour.
Liz has got
it's a good sign. It means economy is in the city. If people are downtown, it means the city's doing well.
Yeah, Liz has got an interesting question. I don't know the answer to here. Is that she says that the traffic directors only work daytime hours, but they don't get involved in sport in night. The baseball and basketball is getting out. Is that true or not? Or do you know? Or should they be if they're not?
Yeah, at the moment it is. Now, what we have for this is in discussion. Right now, what we do is funny. I'm one of the fellows, but the main fellow who designed what's called the downtown safety plan. So after every sporting event, we get officers, usually bicycle officers, NCOs like myself, the district special constables that we do employ, the Toronto Police, and we manage the taking care of the traffic problems after the game. I'm not sure if the city will. I don't know. I'm just assuming it's probably something to do with maybe contracts, how many, what hours a night they're supposed to work. I could certainly see them coming out, expanding that program. I just don't know the details of the finances or the contract for when they work. That's between them and the city. I would expect to see them out, especially as FIFA arrives. We will need every possible resource of anyone who has any authority. I understand we'll be bringing in OPP, Durham, York to handle some of the responsibility. We can't do it all. That is not a chance. We can do that all. So in that, I'm hoping we will see the wardens out for part of our safety plan. It's just, it's something to do with, I guess, contracts, hours, what they're supposed to be doing. But right now, it's just the police and our district constables that handle the safety plan after the game.
Right. Okay. Carolyn, she said many pedestrians keep crossing even on a 1 second remaining. Okay, people run across, I guess, just in the last final second before the lights change. I guess there's not a lot to be done about it, so discourage it.
It's tough. It is a problem because as the countdown comes, you're not supposed, if you're already in the street as a pedestrian and it goes from a walk signal to the countdown, it gives, at least it gives you an idea, how many seconds do I have to get across the street? Do I need to hurry up? Or if I'm about to cross and I see that, technically the minute you see that don't flash, even though it says 20 seconds, you're not supposed to enter the road. That means you're done. What they want at that point, obviously, is that gives the cars waiting to make that right turn a chance to free up traffic, and a number of them can make the right turn. But as you're right, when the pedestrians decide to cross late, it just delays traffic. It's dangerous for the pedestrians, especially when it's a rainy night or dark and stuff like that. But there is a ticket you can give a pedestrian, but that would not be the traffic wardens. They don't have the authority to do that. And here's the problem. If you expect one of the officers doing one of the callbacks there, in order for him to give someone a ticket, he has to walk away from the intersection of the job he's supposed to be doing simply to give that person a ticket. It is a little frustrating, and there's never just one person. There's usually, once one goes, 4 or 5 decide to follow. It's difficult to enforce. It's more of an education thing. I'll usually, try and tell people, look, you're not supposed to walk, but to be honest, people are in a hurry and they don't realize how dangerous it is, because they say when that countdown's going, cars are trying to make that right turn, and rightfully so. That's what it's there for. It's difficult to enforce. There is a charge under the Highway Traffic Act for the pedestrian, but it's just a little more difficult to enforce.
Okay. Well, that's great. That was very informative. How are we doing with that? We got pink. Okay, look at that. We can see it beautifully.
There you go.
I'll
And Neil,
speak to you in a moment.
you will
I'm
have to
almost
skip,
done here.
help me go to the next slide. There are about 20 odd
Okay.
slides in there.
Okay.
So the next one. So I'm big on this, Sir Robert Peel principle, and I always say Barry Bates always remind me of that as well. The police are the public and the public are the police, because we are, as much as we need you, our community members, community partners, as much as you need us. So our philosophy is based on this principle that the police are the public and the public are the police. Next, please. So today's agenda will be situational awareness. I'll speak about that. There was one question in the chat about that. Personal safety, distraction theft, which is a little bit up now, and what to do if you are a victim, unfortunately. Next, please. So just a small disclaimer that this presentation will make you aware of some of the dangers created by the criminal elements in our society. It will show you how to avoid certain kinds of situations that present a danger to your safety. It will give you some options if you ever find yourself caught up in one of these dangerous situations. This is not the be all and end all. This is kind of a refresher. We all know, I'm not telling you anything new. It is just a refresher of what sometimes we become complacent of. Next, please. So there are 3 elements for crime. It's a basic information here. There is the criminal, the victim, and the opportunity presented. So we can wish for talk zero thing about criminals, but we don't have any control over it. We don't want to become a victim. All we can control is opportunity. Don't give the opportunity. Reduce the risk, reduce the opportunity, and reduce the crime. That's a mantra. Next, please. So, starting with situational awareness, in today's world, we are actually is so focused on what one job we are doing on the phone or something, but we forget the basic things that focus on what you are doing and be alert of your surroundings. Walk gracefully with poise and confidence. So when I say be aware of your surrounding, it means pay attention to environment around you, people around you, potential threats, and escape routes. We generally don't think about these things. We just every day it becomes a routine, and that's where the complacency becomes in. Walk with confidence, project confidence, and don't be an easy target. That's a basic fundamental rule of being situationally aware. Next, please. So avoid distractions, and we have seen things happen to us or somebody. What I have put a picture on it. Sometimes we are just not seeing where we are going, and we get into small accidents, or unfortunately, sometimes big accidents. So avoid the distraction. Minimize distractions like cell phones or headphones, which can reduce your awareness. Identify potential threats. The reason I bring that up again and again in these coming slides as well, because the biggest thing nowadays is unprovoked attacks. So I don't want anybody to become victim of unprovoked attack. Sometimes it is very difficult, and you might have seen in the news that somebody was just walking, somebody came along and just hit the person, or worse, the person fell, hit their head, and they have been situation where either they are seriously injured or even dead. So look for signs of suspicious behavior, such as someone following you or loitering in the area. Have an escape plan. Always you should know where you are going, and if you're in a pickle, what is your alternate route. Next, please. So I don't know, Neil, if you can play this video. I don't think it will play. Try that if you can play it. There's a 1 minute video clip. If not, then I'll just go right into the next one.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think in this format it will.
That's fine. It's just a video clip of a minute or so showing that how, if we are distracted, how we can get injured. So next one, please. Next slide, please. So texting and walking. So if I ask you that there are three different kinds of headsets, which one is the more safer one? One is with the wired headset, other is the earbuds, and then the third one is over the head. So we can all agree, and I can testify to that myself, that texting and walking has become an epidemic. Smartphones are distractions. So what we suggest is don't walk, play games, talk, text, or listen to music while your earbuds or headphones with no idea what is going on around you or where you are. So, like, we cannot avoid it. Everybody uses headphones, especially when you are to and fro from work. So, if you have to use your headphones, I'll show you in the next slide. If you go to the next one, has anybody seen that this kind of a headphone? These are the newer headphones. I'm not here to advertise any headphones or anything. This is what I use personally. This is called an open ear design headphones. Multiple companies make it. You can buy from Amazon. They're not cheap. They're not $40 to $100. You can buy a decent headphones if you have to, especially if you're a runner or on a bicycle or something. So what this does is it's a different technology. It goes through your bone. Not the earbuds are not inside your ear, so you can still hear your podcast or music and whatnot. But you can also hear traffic and hazards around you. So this is what I use, and I feel this is very useful. So I can hear anybody talking to me, and I can also hear my music. Next slide, please. Safety on the street. Walk with purpose. Avoid isolated area. Basic information. Maintain distance. Dress so you can move with ease. Act light. Be aware if you are followed by a person or a car. Does anyone know where you are during the day? There are lots of different apps on the phone, especially in iPhone. There is where you somebody can track where your phone is. I have personally found this particular app on your smartphone, any smartphone. It's called Life 360. I can actually make a circle of my family, circle of my friends, even if you are traveling, 4 people traveling, or even when you are at work. Let's say you have a friend at work, a colleague, and you have some situation going on. You can temporarily have this app and make a small circle of 2 people or 3 people, or your best friends or your family members. And in a click of a button, I can see where my kids are. Not to say that you want to spy on your kids, but for the safety. So if you are in a situation or a workplace, or you're going late at night for a jog or for a run or bike or whatever, if you have this Life 360 app or something similar to that, and you have one or two family members or a friend, at any given point of time they can know. So what happens is, when we get as a police, we get a phone call from a family member, somebody that my loved one is missing, that becomes very tricky. And we all know, in policing world, this is a very difficult call when somebody is called in as a missing. But when we try to get some more information, many a times there is no clue to track, unless we have in a police resources, we have different way of tracking the cell phones. But if this Live 360 or something like that is on, we can quickly tell that, okay, this person was last seen at this location. After that, the signals was gone. So we get a starting point. So my recommendation is any kind of a track, like a app, where even if one person knows where you are, it helps a lot. And even if there is a small situation and you just make a call to your friend, they know exactly where you are. Next slide, please. So if you are confronted, who decides what to do? Usually I have animations in there, and but you clearly can see that if you are confronted, you decide what you do. I don't have a magic wand or a magic formula to tell you what to do. When somebody is in a situation where somebody has been confronted, every person perceives threats differently. Even Barry and John and Nam can testify. All four of us can see the same situation as a trained police officers. We all interpret differently, and we may deal with that same situation in 4 different ways. So at the end of the day, you decide what to do. Next slide, please. Things that make a difference. So basically, this is just a good practice. Keep calm and have a plan. Preparation is the key. Let's say there was a question when you're going in the crowded area or in a concert or a big event. Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared for the weather? Are you prepared for big crowds? And if something happens, trust your instincts. Intuitions don't lie. Have a plan, prepare, and trust your instincts. Next slide, please. Now, if there is a situation where any kind of weapon is mentioned, normally people think that weapon is when there is an actual, like a knife or a gun, like a real gun. But all these are considered as weapons, and these are day-to-day stuff which people can carry. So, if there is a mention of any kind of a weapon, or any kind of weapon is seen, now the big question is, do we resist or not resist? Basically, if somebody is trying to rob you on the street for your cell phone or your purse or something, hopefully never happens. But if you get into that situation, what do you do? People always ask me when I'm doing one-on-one presentations in front of people, then they say, oh, should we fight or should we not fight? Resist or not resist? There's no right or wrong answer. So basically, you have to make a decision based on your own capabilities, and then you decide whether you resist or not resist. Generally speaking, the recommendation is, generally speaking, if there is a weapon mentioned or seen, it's better not to resist. Next slide, please.
Oops.
So, what to do if someone is following you? So, basically, it tells that if you suspect that somebody is following you, what do you do? First of all, change the track. Like if you're walking on the left side of the road, cross the road, go to the right side. But now you know that, yeah, for sure somebody is following me. What do I do now? So I always say that most of us, generally speaking, we a little bit, we don't yell at people, but draw some kind of attention. Get that inner voice out. say stop following me, leave me alone, say fire or say something. If I'm doing this presentation in the school, one kid told me, oh, if I yell mom, maybe somebody will. So that was like, yell anything, attract witnesses, draw the attention to yourself and the situation. If possible, startle the person following you, as most criminals seek easy and private target. So if I was in person, I would have yelled right now, stop following me, which I can't do it here on the phone, on the Zoom. But when was the last time have you ever, from the top of your lungs, yelled something? If not, try in front of a mirror tonight. I'm just saying, if you want to test your own abilities, that how loud can you yell? Hopefully, never anybody gets into this situation. But if somebody gets into these situations, these are little tricks that can help you uh, get out of that tricky situation. Next slide, please. Some basic self-defense techniques. The first one is obvious de-escalation. Try to diffuse the situation verbally if possible by remaining calm and avoiding escalation. Verbal commands, like I said in the previous slide, can you yell? If necessary, you don't have a choice. Let's say you're in an elevator or something and there's nothing else you can do. Do you have in you to physically defend yourself? Use any technique, create space, try, kick, use any object to defend. So, who will make that decision? You will. And we have all heard fight or flight. Train your mind to fight if comes to that. So, I always say that if you're in a close, confined spaces and things are going bad, I always go for the suspect legs. I just grab the legs with all my might and try to bring the person down. Again, it will depend on your own ability, but rather than doing nothing, do something. Yell and run, defend with everything you have. While defending yourself, commit fully to the action. No dilly dally, go for what you can and grab with the legs or something and do something to protect yourself because that's the only chance you have. Next slide, please. Now, this is up, uh, especially in Christmas time, distraction theft. Touchwood, I have spoken to my analysts. They say in 52 division there are not a whole lot of distraction theft, but in general in the city there are up. The stats is little bit high on distraction thefts. So, what crimes? The criminals use tricks and deceptions, diversion, slay of hand, skillful deception, and manual dexterity. You will not even know, and your wallet or your cell phone or a gold chain or something expensive is gone. Usually, it only takes seconds. Before you even realize it, the stuff is gone. That's what is distraction theft. Next slide, please. What are thieves looking for? Easy picking, crowds, and distractions. Next. Who are the targets? If you see right at the bottom, basically anyone can be a target of distraction theft, but mostly 60 to 80% are seniors. Someone who is easily manipulated, speak little or no English, sitting or walking alone, distracted, timid. They are lost, absent-minded, intoxicated. Someone who is unaware of their surrounding, walking with earbuds, texting and talking. So again, it ties back to the situational awareness. So basically, anybody could be a target, but generally, it's easy targets and mostly seniors. So be aware of that fact. Next slide, please. What are the common items? Basically, jewelry, rings, cell phones, wallet, credit cards, and debit card. These are the commonly stolen item during distraction theft. And like John was mentioning before, once they have your credit card, debit card, before you know it, it'll be emptied. And sometimes people follow, like let's say you're in a grocery store and you're using your debit card, they will first track your PIN number and then they will steal your debit card. So you will feel that okay, my purse is gone, but nobody knows my PIN number. but they have followed the person for days, and then they work in team. So be very careful about the situation when you put your PIN number wherever you are. Either hide it, or if you don't have to put the PIN number and just tap it, then just tap it. Next one, please. Where does it happen? Again, at the bottom, if you see, it says basically anywhere. It can happen in a public place, in a parking lot, and if you see on the third picture, like the right hand top corner, there are three people working on the same victim. They work in a team. Shopping malls near ATM, grocery shops, homes, and yards. So there are numerous examples and numerous YouTube videos where people have been robbed or due to distraction theft. The jewelry is gone. They will show you a fake jewelry, give you a fake jewelry, and your actual jewelry will be gone. So be very careful. Next one, please. What are the tactics? So generally, they will not come at you like you will know right away. It will be a surprise element. In emotional manipulations, sometimes they're very nice to you. Physical contact to catch victim off guard, and working in teams. They will appear non-threatening. They will act helpful. Sometimes they have a child or a baby and a stroller with them to do their distraction theft because, as I said, they work in groups. Usually operate in pairs or groups, very organized. Uh, they are very opportunistic as well to gain entrance to your inside your home. Next one, please. So these are different ways they do it. I'll go through them quickly. I don't want to go explain everything, but these are the common scams and distraction thefts which happen. Is a good Samaritan try to help you? The spill, the water, they will put water or something, coffee on you, and then while you're distracted, your jewelry or expensive ring will be gone. $20 scam, that's very famous. They drop $20 and then they try to give you back. They say you dropped it. So you get distracted and the other items are gone. Fake jewelry swaps, ask for directions, starting an argument, creating a scene, pretending to need help, damaging a vehicle like putting scratch on your car or flat tire, and then you get distracted, you come out of the car and the stuff sitting in the car is gone. Knocking on the door to ask for help, ATM and bank deception, trade person distraction. People come to your door pretending to be a utility worker and hugging bandits. These are common type of distraction thefts. Next slide, please. Now, how to protect yourself? Basically, I always ask when we get reports that okay, this break and enter happened or my laptop was stolen. Do you have a serial number? Most times, no. Do you have any differentiating engraving on your equipment? Any kind of identifying mark? Generally, no. So, even if we say what happens is sometimes we catch a thief and then we do a warrant where they have stored all their stolen items, we get like upwards of 200 plus items. We cannot trace the owner because there was no serial number reported when the items were stolen. So generally speaking, especially for the jewelry, expensive jewelry, if it is in your home, take pictures of your jewelry. If there is any engraving, take the pictures of the engraving. If there expensive electronics, you must have the box for that or at least written down the serial number somewhere. Once the item is gone, it is very hard to track it back to you if you don't have those. Let's say many a times we catch somebody who's doing shoplifting in sports check or some grocery store or whatever, and then we search the person and we find other items in it. We know it is stolen, but we don't know any reports on it. Like if there is a serial number, we can run the serial number on our system if in the initial incident if that serial number was reported as stolen. So basically we cannot return it to the rightful owner for that. So kindly take pictures of your jewelry, and if you are keeping high-end jewelry at home, you must have a pictures and details. Even better if you have a receipt for it. Next slide, please. Next, please. So now, unfortunately, you become a victim or you become a witness. and you have seen something happens. Now, good becoming a good witness is also very important from police perspective. So all this description, I can do 1 hour of presentation just about the suspect description. But generally speaking, I say that people change clothes and everything else. If you can, pay close attention to the shoes, because bad guys for some reason will change their clothes, change their appearance, change their hairstyle, change their hat, but they keep the same shoes. This is just my little tidbit with my experience that if you have a good description of the shoes, it helps solving a lot of crime, because the same person is doing same kind of thing in multiple places. They may change the jacket, but generally speaking, they keep the same shoes. Next slide, please. Now, this is always comes that when, unfortunately, if you have to call 911, uh, you have to be prepared to be calm. It's very hard. It's easier said than done. But when people are calling 911, they're already in a very hyped state. And then the dispatcher asks you so many questions. And then the frustration creeps in because you want the police to be there right away. But be aware that there are a bunch of questions the dispatcher needs to know to get you the right, uh, like police, fire, or ambulance at exact location where you need. So these are the general questions the dispatch will ask you about the emergency, exact address. Before, there used to be times when people used to call from your land phone and they're always registered. But now everybody calls from cell phone, and sometimes they don't even know where they are. They just tell, okay, I'm in front of McDonald's. Doesn't mean anything. So situational awareness at all times, where you are going, what are the closest intersection. If you're familiar with the city, you probably know, but if you're new to the city or going to a new area, and this applies in general wherever, even if you're traveling somewhere, you should know ballpark that which area you are in, what are the major streets close to you, what is the nature of emergency, what are the injuries, are there weapons involved, if you can describe the person. So the key thing is stay calm, which is I will again say easier said than done. Next slide, please. So important consideration is calmness, accuracy about the location, about the weapons, about the description if you can give clarity. Speak slowly because sometimes in the conversation when it is hyped, we miss information. All this is considered when you feel safe and when you are calling 911 and you stay on the line, because dispatcher will say the officer has been dispatched, and once you see the officer, then only they let the line go. So sometimes we get a call and they get frustrated and they disconnect it. Now we, as a dispatcher, we don't have all the full information, and then it takes longer to reach where we need to reach. Next slide, please. The first line I stole from TTC. I will not lie. If you see something, say something. And there are different ways to report it. Some people know a lot of information, but they don't know whether should I call 911 for that or not. But there are crime stoppers you can call, anonymous lines. So 1-800-222-TIPS 8477. If you just want to give the information of something you have seen or something you think is important to solve a crime, because a lot of unsolved crimes, there's a lot of public media and there's a lot of media coverage about if for a major incident, police is looking for something, but you don't want to go to the police. You have seen something. I'll tell you the crimes. We get a lot of tips on Crime Stoppers, and it's completely anonymous. Obviously, 911, and then there is a non-emergency, 416-808-2222, and on your cell phone is star TPS, which is Toronto Police Service, star 877. Next slide, please. At the end, last but not the least, stay safe and thank you very much. Thank you, Neil.
Thanks very much, Hank. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming. We're going to move on quickly to Dorsa. If Dorsa's here, she is from the Waterfront BIA.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. Tim sends his regrets. He couldn't make it, but excuse me, I'm just here to provide some quick updates. So, the fireworks went really well. Another successful year of celebrating the New Year's Eve at the waterfront. If you have any feedback for us that you would like us to address maybe in next year, try and work with the city to make the experience better, let us know. I can put my email in the chat. Just some updates for around the area. We have 2 skate days planned at Sherbourne Common South Rink with free skate rentals available on January 25th and February 13th. One of them is scheduled with Osmo Malik's office, and one of them, I believe, is with Chi Nguyen. I forget which dates, but if you are subscribed to our newsletter, you'll get more details on that as they become available. So far, it's kind of quiet around this time of year in the neighborhood, so we're excited for FIFA to come in the spring. We expect the area to be very busy, especially at Harbourfront Centre and at George Brown's College Pride House activation. So we're advocating for more washrooms in the area and better signage, and trying to get Western parks to handle the crowds better. That's it for us. Oh, sorry. We also are conducting an internal event strategy, and we will most likely connect with you, Ed, to consult with you and get feedback on events around the waterfront and your input on how we can make them better.
Okay, thank you
That's
very
it for
much.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got, I think I saw Kathy Loblaw there from Harbourfront, who's going to be leaving us soon, but she's here
Hello.
now. I think. Have I got that right? There she is.
There we
Great.
go. Good evening,
Welcome, Kathy.
everyone. Thank you for hanging in to the bitter end, and I will
Thank
be
you for
brief. Oh no, I'll be brief, respecting everyone's time tonight, and know that it's been a long meeting. But I did want to take just a few moments to thank you for all of your ongoing collaboration and support, and the great partnership that we enjoy together and working to make our community great. I did want to share a few updates. I'm sure many of you have seen some of the news that has been coming out from Harbourfront of late. We are very excited this fall to welcome the Prime Minister for a campus and site tour. And the last time we had a sitting Prime Minister was Pierre Elliott Trudeau Sr. So it was a long time in the coming, and wonderful to have his engagement and support for our campus and our programming and the waterfront collectively. We also had Minister Cho from the provincial government out for a campus tour and to share exciting news about the Ontario Science Centre continuing to have their interim location at Harbourfront Centre for the next 5 years as they build their flagship at Ontario Place. So they will continue with the Kids Park program that's been on our campus now for about a year. And they will expand into some of the other areas in our campus as well, to have more exhibition and more engagement space with the community. It will continue to be very much Harbourfront Centre, and we've put together a plan where we'll have some shared and integrated spaces and some independent spaces. And it allows us to really strengthen our sustainable revenue and support, but also provide some great programming to our community. We also had a recent announcement about Shaw, and we're very excited to welcome the Shaw at Harbourfront Centre starting in October 2026. So we have signed a 3-year residency with them. So they will come in October to do the rehearsals, and then they will do 3 productions a year at the Fleck at Harbourfront Centre Theatre. And it'll just be a wonderful way to bring theatre to our campus at a world-class level, and a great way for everyone to experience the Shaw without having to go too far. We do know that the Christmas Carol, which is quite an iconic play, will be one of the productions that will be at the centerpiece of our Winterfest next year and part of their contribution. And then they will announce the other 2 productions as we get closer. So we are thrilled to have them as a new partner. Hopefully, many of you have also enjoyed our new and expanded skating rink. Canadian Tire Jumpstart has come on board as a wonderful new partner in a 3-year initial partnership. And as you know, Ozma Malik played such a critical role in expanding the rink and bringing the city's support. And then by bringing Canadian Tire Jumpstart in, we were able to really build upon that and also add more accessibility to it. The rink this year has sides. We have more accessibility aids, so it's more inclusive. And really the goal is to remove barriers so that more youth and more families can enjoy the great Canadian winters we have and skating outside. And certainly New Year's Eve was a testament to that. As you heard from the Waterfront BIA, the City of Toronto did incredible fireworks out in front of Harbourfront Centre. We also had our first outdoor live concert in the outdoor amphitheater. We had DJ Skates. CBC did a live broadcast from Harbourfront Centre this New Year's Eve with over 9 million viewers, which was a remarkable increase from the previous year. And it was just a wonderful celebration of family and community and individuals and a really shared commitment across the Waterfront BIA. Of course, MP Chi is a great champion of all things we do, Ozma, and of course, Chris Glover as well. So we had all our partners involved. And then I would say, going forward, there's a lot more to continue to come, and much of it's been articulated on our call here today. We'll be going into the month of February is Kumba at Harbourfront Centre, so Black History and Black Futures Month, with a wonderful variety of programming from the arts to health and wellness. We are also gearing up for FIFA, as everyone is speaking about. I think that our campus will be a very active place to enjoy FIFA, to celebrate all that it embraces, as well as the arts and cultural components. And there will be more to share with you as the weeks ahead go on, but expect a very active campus. We're all thrilled that our bridge is coming back, and it's going to just create a new level of accessibility and connectivity across the waterfront. Really grateful again back to Ozma and to the city for partnering and leading and championing with us on that. And overall, as you heard from Chi, the federal government, and thanks to Chi's great leadership and championing, has really leaned in to stabilize us and to make investments across capital as well as operating. So we'll see a continuous improvement on our campus as it relates to safety, accessibility, and just the aesthetics of making it a beautiful part of our waterfront. So we're very grateful, quite frankly, to our federal, provincial, and city partners. They're all leaning in to ensure that Harbourfront Centre continues to be that community cultural campus and offer great recreation and learning. And just today, we launched our summer camps again. So, our summer camps have become an iconic part of so many families and youth summers. And they are officially online and registerable, and we're excited for what's coming forward. So I think that just gives you the fast headlines. I know when the meeting comes up in March, we'll be excited to share some videos and presentations with you. But recognizing the time today, I just thought I'd give you some quick headlines. Our CEO search is still active, and so I have nothing specific or new to report on that front. But I'm sure by the time we're together again in March, there'll be more news there, if not before. And other than that, I'm joined today by Morgan Campbell, who is Head of Communications at Harbourfront Centre, and she will continue to be an iconic face for you as a point of connection and connectivity. We also have Massimo, as you know, a continuing great partner and head of operations, and Joanne, his partner, who runs much of our day-to-day operations. So it's a committed group who really appreciate you as a partner and both your inputs and feedback, and we look forward to continuing to work together. So thank you. And I'm happy to take any questions if there are any.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for all the work you've done. I think Harbourfront has really gotten a bit of a shot in the arm, and it's been much more active and interesting. It's been a bit of a thrill to watch it all unfold over the last year or so, year and a half, whenever
Well,
So,
thank you.
appreciate it.
I think we're all feeling there's just been a refresh and a re-engagement, and all of our partners have leaned in. Our arts councils, obviously, all of our art partners. We're very excited for Luminato to be back again this year, and there's just a real engagement around the food culture, the activities. It's exciting. We feel really grateful to see it coming to life and to be running programming year round. You know, it's really wonderful to have our campus so active.
All right, thank you very much indeed for joining and sticking with us through a fairly long meeting, still being here.
Of course,
That's
of
great. We
course.
enjoyed your talk.
Thank you. We're happy to connect anytime.
Okay, great.
I
We're
see a
going to move
raised
on to
hand.
Neil, who is going to step in very briefly for Marguerite, who is our treasurer, and he's going to update us on our financial situation here at YQNA.
Yes, very briefly. We are almost done. So yeah, Margareta could not come this evening, but this is a quick look at our finances for last year. At the bottom, you'll see we ended with $2,050, which is pretty healthy for us. But you will see our income was $787. Our expenses were $990. Most of it is tech, Zoom and the website and the hosting and so forth and so on. So if you can, find it in your hearts and your wallets to make any donation, even a small one to us, it makes a big difference. You'll see by the way, we had a $50 donation in December. We don't know who it's from. We're not sure who to thank, but thank you for that. And if you'd like to make one, if you can go to our website on the desktop, on the left column, you'll see a donation button. If you're on a phone or a tablet, just scroll down through the blogs to the point where you get to the blue buttons and you'll see the donation button. And thank you very much. That's our account.
Great. Thanks everybody for coming. And don't forget to hit that donate button so YQNA can continue to do its great work. Not that I do anything much, but Neil and Ula do a huge amount, and Dee Dee does as well. And so if they have a little bit of money, then it oils the gears just a wee bit in a way that I think is probably good for all of us. So thanks very much for coming. And with that, I think we'll conclude the meeting.
Yes, and a big thanks to Julie tonight for organizing the police.
Yeah, thank you, Julie, for organizing our police speakers. So our next meeting is Monday, March 9th, 2026 at the Radisson Blu. So we're going to be live. We can actually see each other, touch each other even. It's going to be great. We'll actually see each other in the flesh. So we look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you. Bye-bye.